All right, Michael Martinez here. Today is November 20th, 2022. We're doing a life story interview with John Collier, aka Big John Collier, here in Banner Elk, North Carolina. John, I just want to thank you for your time here.
Well, I'm honored that you picked me to tell my life story.
Well, I appreciate it. When my wife first mentioned my daughter's project to me, I thought of you, and she agreed that you'd be a perfect candidate for this. We had a chance to talk some months ago, and even from what I heard then, I know you've lived a great life. You have some, great history, and I think you would be the perfect candidate. And so I'm glad we got to do this.
I really appreciate it.
But
so we'll just start the questions?
Yeah, we'll just jump right in. We'll start on the ground level from your childhood, your family history. If you want to get into your earliest memories that you remember about your childhood, about your parents, your grandparents, if you know, things you learned, experiences you had, and whatever just flows and whatever you remember.
Well, family history. My mother, Mary Ariet Lozier, was born in Otisfield, Maine. My father, Joseph Collier, Hazleton, Pennsylvania. My mother died when she was only 29 years old. I was 4, so I remember very little. I just remember her singing My Darling Clementine.
Mm-hmm.
My father, I remember essentially nothing up to age 4. I don't really remember him at all. When my mother died, the Massachusetts Division of Child Guardianship took the 5 kids away. My father couldn't handle it. I only saw him once or twice. I didn't see him for about 10 years when he visited one of the homes I was in. He died a broken man in his 50s. Mm. They met at a summer resort. She was working at a resort as the college girls between her freshman and sophomore years at Oberlin. She was a gifted pianist, apparently. He was working as a chauffeur for some people vacationing at that resort. And they ran off. She fell in love with him and they ran off. We'll get to that a little bit more in a minute. My grandparents, the only grandparents I know anything about is my mother's side, because she had an older brother, George Lozier, and he went to Rensselaer. And my Aunt Amy, my mother's older sister, she went to Bates College in Maine. And they were just rural people, but they managed to put 3 kids in college at the turn of the century, which is quite an achievement. I have photos of my grandparents, but I never met them or don't ever recall meeting them. On my father's side, I have no new information about him. Well, as I say, in my early childhood, my mother ran off and married my father, and they moved to Danvers, Massachusetts, where we 5 siblings lived till my mother died in 1939. And as I say, my father couldn't handle it, and he took the kids away. Let's see. It was a tough childhood, especially from age 4 to 11. I went through 7 different homes, sometimes with my brothers and sister. And never did live with my beloved sister. I have few memories of Danvers, as I was only 4 years old there. I guess early child would be the 6 homes in my life from age 4 to 11, because I don't remember much before age 4. Let's see. It was a tough childhood, as I say. I just remember longing for my brothers and sister when I was separated from them, and how happy I was when we were brought together from time to time. I would say that growing up gave me an excellent ability to judge people. I mean, looking up year after year at a new set of foster parents and wondering, is this going to be good for us? As far as people influenced me, no doubt, my grade school teachers, they were a blessing.
And it sounds like, it sounds like in some ways, I know we had talked about this before, in some ways that childhood can be considered kind of a rough and tough childhood. You're in the foster homes, you don't have your parents, your sister, but eventually we'll get into how it shaped you and how you were able to work it for good and it made you stronger and tougher. And like you said, it gave you a good discernment of people's character. And so,
Thank you.
so that's good how it can work out that way,
So, let's see, that was.
Yeah, that was your early history there.
I've missed something here. I've got ages 11 to 18, but that doesn't go into the
timeline
from age 4 to 11.
Hmm.
That's when I went through 6 different homes.
And that was in Boston, right?
No, I don't know how I missed. You can edit this out, right?
Yeah, no, it's okay. We'll just
I don't know how I
let it
missed.
flow.
I don't remember much from up to age 4, but from 4 to 11 was a real tough time. I mean, went through all those different homes and separated from my brother and sisters, I say.
Do you have any particular memories from during the time in those homes? Anything that stands out? Or?
Yes, and I'm surprised they didn't make notes on that. I mean, each home, I've got pictures. As I say, when Mother died, we were shipped out on the state, and the first home with some people in Medway, Mass. And still, I was a little bit young there, so I don't remember too much. But then I was pale, and they shipped me to a farm.
Okay.
A few miles away, about 30 miles away,
Oh.
with a hard-working farmer.
Wow.
And his family. They already had 3 brothers, 3 stray kid brothers in the home. They took me, and then a year or so later, a couple of my brothers came to live there.
Okay,
too.
wow. Well, that's good. You got to be together with them,
We got back together, yeah, and it was a good couple of years. And then I guess it got to be too much for the people, and never with my sister, although she was brought to visit us once in a while, because she was in an adjoining town in a foster home. We got shipped to a home that was kind of rough from the August of 45 to 46. It was a home where we weren't too happy. I remember there was no Christmas.
Oh man, that's tough.
Yeah. A son visited from the Navy, and he gave us $1.
Yeah, well, that's a big deal back then.
Oh, we went running down to Fanny Farmer, and Joe said, well, we should buy her something for Christmas. There was no Christmas tree or anything in that home. So we bought a package of Boston baked beans. They're red-covered candy from Fanny Farmer.
Okay. And
we went up to our attic bedroom, and Georgie was already asleep. He's probably going to get hollered at or whipped for peeing the bed, my baby brother. And my older brother, Joe, was kind of a wild kid. And he said, I could sure use a handful of those Boston baked beans. So we opened the Boston baked. Long story short, we ended up finishing the Boston baked beans.
Oh, gee. Ate the whole thing.
Yeah, so she didn't get that Christmas present.
No.
And,
you guys ate all the candy, huh?
yeah, we ate it all. Well, once we had opened it.
That was it. Forget it.
Yeah. So that, but then from there, we in 1946, I remember the war ended while we were there. The bombing of Hiroshima.
Wow.
We got shipped to finally a very good home for us. Not my brother Joe. He got shipped something. Well, Joe ran away. The man picked him up and threw him to the ground one day, and a neighbor jumped over and said, what are you doing to that boy? Joe ran away, and so we never lived with Joe again after that. But Bobby, my 2 younger brothers and I, we got shipped to Charlestown, to the Flint.
Okay.
A real nice family. And that's where we grew up in my adolescence. Now, the jobs to earn money. Shoe shining on Bunker Hill Street.
Was that one of your first jobs or your first job ever?
My first job.
Was that your first job ever or one of your first jobs, shining shoes?
Well, let's see. My first job ever, was shining shoes
Okay,
to make money, because no one handed you money in those days.
You had to work. That's true.
I shined shoes. I carried groceries. We had a radio flyer wagon. I went down to the Firsty and carried groceries because the local ladies didn't have cars. Everyone, didn't have automobiles. They walk up the hill bunkers. And we'd carry groceries on, sometimes on a Saturday, we'd collect junk in our little cart.
Yeah, sell it.
And sell it to a dealer at the foot of the hill and make a few pennies, because we'd shovel snow in the winter to make money. And I guess I must have been 15 or 16, old enough to work there, but I packed ice cream at the Hood plant.
Okay.
It was a Hood's ice cream plant down there in Charlestown. And I worked on an assembly line. I remember I'd go home to eat lunch, you want to pick up your
You're so used
sandwich,
to your hand moving out.
I knew I didn't want to do that kind of work all my life.
Oh, wow.
Then best of all was working at the boys club.
Okay.
You know,
yeah.
My kids, we'd
That's a great.
work in the game room or work handing out towels at the swimming pool. And my kids laughed when I said we made 10 cents an hour, but adults were only making about 25 cents an hour minimum wage in those
pretty good.
days.
Yeah, for kids.
So
and you're doing what you enjoy too.
Yeah.
That's important.
And the boys club was a lifesaver. I mean, boxing, I learned to box there because it was a tough town.
Oh, yeah.
The kids were all fist fighting.
Well, I bet. In Boston.
Yeah, the pecking order in the bars were what men could duke it out with each other, so the teenage kids were that way. The Army gave me 2 new front teeth.
Wow.
Yeah, the boys club gave me a little plastic insert for it, but a lot of the kids had teeth knocked out in Charlestown. But the swimming was a blessing because eventually I met a bunch of college guys at AAU meets and got introduced to Bowdoin College. We'll get to that after a while. School, the teachers were a lifesaver.
Good
I don't know, they
teachers.
took a special liking to me because I was a good, quiet, studious kid, and they were all miss this and miss that, so maybe I was the son they never had.
Yeah.
But they were just a blessing. And my favorite subjects were English and history, and especially the poetry.
Okay. Yeah,
I mean, in those days, they weren't too riddled with much bureaucracy, and we'd be studying something, and suddenly in November the snow would start to come down. And I'll never forget, the teacher said, okay, let's close the books here, and let's open to some poetry. And of course, we'd get the first snowfall.
Oh, wow.
The snow had begun in the evening and busily all the night. And so I remember that poetry is one of my favorite subjects.
Is it still today? You still enjoy
I
your
love
poems?
And it's really a blessing. I wonder how many poems, do they give you poems? I could recite all of Sea Fever, The First Snowfall, Flanders Fields. Stopping by woods on a snowy evening by Frost. It enriches your life.
Yeah, man, it sounds good.
It enriches your life, good poetry. But of course the swimming led to Bowdoin, and at Bowdoin it was just a complete enriching experience. Just a poor state kid with a state-issued suit of clothes, double-breasted blue serge suit. You check in up there with all the kids got their straight jackets.
Wow.
But
that it was nervous.
the swimming, as I say, that was just a fantastic experience, traveling around different colleges, competing with the team.
That's good. My daughter, she's on the swim team actually in high school.
Yeah.
She just joined.
Butterfly was my favorite. Yeah.
Is that your favorite too?
No, that's the hardest one.
Well,
That's
you'll
the
get a
hardest
kick
one.
out of this. They were just introducing. You went from the old frog kick with butterfly to the dolphin kick.
Oh, yeah.
That was just a transition thing there. Of course, I've got a picture in there. The guy that ran the theater, he said, "I'd like to do Billy Budd," and he asked me would I audition for it.
Okay.
I
in
think
theater.
he wanted me.
Okay.
I think-
Uh-huh.
And so I started in Billy Budd.
Okay. Oh, you were the star too of it. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
the
that's
lead
good.
character. It was great. Of course, the fraternity,
Mm.
and then the Glee Club. I
Mm.
sang and traveled with the Glee Club.
Wow.
So it was a complete, wonderful
It
experience.
sounds like you had some good experience. I kind of see the progression of, you're in the foster care, you're going through all these different homes, and then each thing leads to something better. You do the boxing and,
Yeah.
swimming, the athletics, it leads to college, which leads to the arts, which leads to,
Yeah.
the military, and everything kind of
Yeah.
ties into place. And that's great.
Well, let's see, where were we?
I think we're in adolescence and college, and then I guess we're moving into adulthood. So, what did you major in college too? What did you?
I majored in sociology.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
just, I mean, I took a complete liberal arts, but sociology, I don't know, it's just studying
You liked it.
society and
Uh-huh.
people and groups.
It's a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah, I found that fascinating.
Mm.
Plus, I wasn't very good in math. I didn't major in math.
That's good.
My opening semester, I took tests, and they said, "We really think you should take out Greek and Latin
Mhm.
instead of math." I said, "No, I don't know about 2 years of Greek and Latin. You can take a
Uh-huh.
semester of analytical geometry, integral differential calculus,
Hmm.
or Greek and Latin." Well, I got 3 A's and an E. I flunked.
Oh, I know.
So
I guess you knew.
I
you
took
know.
the 2 years. I knew
I
myself.
told you.
Took the 2 years
What not
of
to
Greek and
do.
Latin.
Uh,
Of course, art was one of my art appreciation with Professor Beam was just
hmm.
wonderful. Babysat for his kids too, but I mean, being exposed to all the great artists of the world, that was just a fabulous course.
Yeah, it sounds like too, it carries with you today. And what we can do is too, I kind of had this idea, we can, as part of the interview, and we can go around the house, you can tell some of the pieces you have and some of the history on that, and we tie that in. And so, but it sounds like your greatest memories were the athletics you did and the extracurricular things you did, the relationships you built, and the memories you made there.
Yeah.
And so,
And of course, I took ROTC.
uh-huh.
I think you do it your last 2 years. I forget now. But I took
Mhm.
ROTC, so you graduate with a commissioning exercise.
So that's good.
Yeah,
So it puts you ahead when
yeah.
you go into the military, already have that experience and that.
That's right. That led to the Army.
And that kind of brings us to the next phase. So you're in college, things are progressing through life. You're doing all these activities. You're learning about yourself, building relationships, and then you're in ROTC. And then so, did you always know you wanted to go into the military?
Not really, but I saw the seniors there out there
In
on
the
the parade
uniforms,
field.
or
Yeah, uniform and all, and the physical vigor of it,
Mhm.
So, and I wasn't going to stay in the Army. I mean, I graduated with a commission. Since I wasn't regular Army, I didn't get Fort Bragg or Fort Benning. I did volunteer get airborne and ranger tabs on my uniform, so I had
Okay.
something on my uniform. Nevertheless, I got shipped out to Fort Ord, California.
Oh.
And there, Fort Ord, California.
All the way from Boston to California, they just moved you over there.
Jackie
Gee,
Gleason, have a drink.
That
Kim
must have
Novak and
been-
Big Sur,
that must have been culture
Yeah.
shock, huh?
Yeah.
I bet. Did you
Yeah,
at least have
but-
some friends with you there from Boston, or it was just you?
If what?
Did you have friends there with you that got shipped to the same place, or was it you
Oh
kind of
no,
just threw you in?
I just remember arriving there kind of on my own.
Uh-huh.
I drove out there and actually picked up a hitchhiker on the way. He almost killed me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I woke up. I was dreaming I was in a car accident, and boom! I woke up and this guy was clubbing me with something.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And luckily, I was in great shape, right fresh out of Ranger School, so I forced him out of the car, and I'm bleeding from my couple of wounds on my head, and I thought, wait a minute, I could pass out. I better go get him. And I said, get back in the car. Drive to a state police station. He was watching me, and finally he bolted from the car, and I spent the night overnight in the Winslow Hospital.
Oh, wow.
Arrived at my sister's house in California because I was going to visit her before Fort Ord, and had stitches and
Oh my God.
strings hanging out of my eyes. Yeah.
Let me tell you, the audience, this is a tough guy, you know, if you hear his story, he's in the car, this guy's maybe trying to kill him, he kicks him out, he goes back and picks him up and says, I'm going to take you to the police station. That's
But
pretty
then
tough.
I realized I might pass out from the loss of blood, so I
Threw him back out, huh?
Threw him back out of the car.
Gee. That's tough.
Yeah, my trip to California.
Yeah, welcome to California, they
Yeah,
say now.
exactly. But anyway.
You made it, you survived your trip to California, you know.
Yeah.
And so when you got there, where were you stationed and what did they have you doing? What was your MOS too?
Well, I was stationed at 4th Brigade Advanced. It was really, it wasn't too much combat, no combat meet. I mean, it was the 4th Brigade Common Specialist Training. They went off to learn to type and to cook and be company clerks, and we'd sit around and drink coffee with the old Korean War and World War II.
Yeah, well, that's good.
So,
you got
I just remember Carmel Beach and Cannery Row.
Okay.
Some of the bars we'd stop and have a drink in. Yeah.
Good times, good memories. So you were in the Korean War.
No, I wasn't.
Oh, okay.
No,
okay.
the guys that were the older officers and
God.
NCOs. But Carmel was such. If I didn't live here, I'd probably pick Carmel.
It was nice, huh?
Monterey Peninsula.
Was that Carmel, California?
Carmel, California, Monterey Peninsula.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a beautiful spot.
I've heard California has some beautiful places with the vineyards and nature and the rolling hills and everything.
Well, good. Carmel is if this is the beauty spot on the East Coast, I'd say Carmel, California.
Is that
Monterey
nice,
Peninsula is
the
spot on the West Coast.
Sounds nice.
I think most people would agree with that statement.
Sounds nice.
All right, so where are we?
So here you are in the military. You're doing your time in California. Is it okay? Would you say the next step is maybe how you got into Vietnam, or was there something in between there?
Let's see.
We've got adulthood. We talked about.
Let's get to the adulthood, pages 3 and 4.
Exactly. So we've talked about some influential people in your life during that time.
During my
your adulthood.
here we go.
We can get into your adulthood from the history of when you were in the military during that time.
Yeah, let's do the military. So I went to the military in I graduated from Bowdoin in 1957, commissioned as second lieutenant, and I worked for Bell Telephone that summer. You went into the Army the following September. So when I graduated from Bowdoin in June '57 until September, I worked in Philadelphia.
Okay.
For AT&T, for Bell Telephone. And one regret I have there is, as I say, I have a lot of history of my mother's family because Uncle George, my uncle, and my Aunt Amy, I have photographs and knew about that side of the family, but I knew nothing about my father. And his family, he was from Media, Pennsylvania, and there I was in Philadelphia.
Oh, you're right there,
I sort of wish I'd gone down there and got to know them. And but anyway, I entered active service in September '57. As I say, I went to Airborne and Ranger School to get something in my uniform, and I was a platoon leader for a while at Fort Ord, and my boss said, Collier, you're not married, you're Airborne Ranger qualified, you're doing a good job for me, you'll like the Army will like you, I want you to go regular Army. I said, sir, I'll tell AT&T I'm not coming back, put me in for it.
You went all in,
And 2 months later, I'm in the from the
September.
Monterey Peninsula. 2 months later, I'm in the dock in Keflavik, Iceland.
Oh, wow. He didn't tell you that part.
Like,
Oh my
his
God.
stupid lieutenant's gonna stay on the Monterey Peninsula, meeting Jackie Gleason and Kim Novak for the rest of his life. No, it doesn't work that way. But anyway, it was quite an
What a
experience,
transition,
though.
wow.
I was up there from November to April. We pulled out. They pulled the army out.
Oh.
We were supposed to be defending the Keflavik air base, but anyway.
How long were you over there in Iceland?
I was in
Remember?
Iceland from November of '58 until let's see, Iceland. Yeah, the winter of '59.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
59 and 60. Yeah.
Mhm.
So in 1960, I returned, and I'm a company commander in the Second Infantry Division, platoon leader in the Second Infantry Division, and got promoted to captain at that time.
Okay. Wow, that's good.
And then career officer, you go to one of the schools.
Uh-huh.
Basic infantry was back when I first went in. Then you go to the officers advanced class, and then I got orders to go to Vietnam the first time.
Oh, wow.
And
As an officer too, leading
yeah,
troops.
as a captain. And the nice part was we were going to be advisors to the Vietnamese Army, so I got a couple of months of language school at Monterey, Presidio Monterey. So
Okay.
back out,
Oh, wow.
I'm
Okay.
back out in there.
California.
Anyway, that was fascinating to study the language, and it really, because I like languages, it really made my assignment enriched, because you were dropped off, you spent a couple of nights in Saigon, and then they fly you out, drop you off
Wow.
along a canal somewhere, and you meet your counterpart. There he is, a Vietnamese captain, Captain Dai Huy, Dai Huy Ngon, and you just walk with that Vietnamese army, you sleep in the Vietnamese huts, you eat
Wow.
the Vietnamese food.
Oh.
And it was an enriching experience. And since I like to try to practice the language, I get the picture sitting with the little kids. I'd chat with the children all the time. And it's so fascinating, because I'd be sitting in the village, and a Vietnamese person would say, some old guy would say, Dai Huy, Dai Huy Mi'i, Captain America. Mi'i.
Okay, Captain America.
Convert to her? You have a wife yet? Sure, convert. Oh, lucky man. You know, international humor. She will go to America with you and point to some widow.
Even halfway
She will-
across the world, men are still making the same jokes.
Yeah, the
Oh,
same
wow,
kind
that's
of jokes.
interesting.
Yeah,
I didn't
right.
know
And
that.
that was the beauty, that was the beauty of.
The same heart, the same human heart, you know,
Yeah,
beats and everything.
yeah. I'll tell you though, that was a tough grind. I ended up not too much combat. We'd have some clashes with the Viet Cong, but I never got wounded. But I did get malaria, so I spent some time in the hospital with malaria. But I wouldn't swap it for anything. It was just a great experience, and the people, just love the people. Anyway, from there, I got assigned into Special Forces when I got home.
Okay. Oh, wow.
And boy, I was an A-team leader with the 3rd Special Forces Group. And the word came down that the British 22nd SAS had an exchange program. They were the elite British commandos, the desert rats of World War II, you know.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Fly through the desert, shoot up the German planes on the ground, and get out in the dark. Yeah, they were tough. They were good. We sort of formed our Delta Force on them.
Okay. Oh, wow.
A guy named Charlie Beckwith. He was an exchange officer before me. But what a year that was with them. You know,
Great
I
memories.
went through this selection course. When I got there, they said, Collier, perhaps you'd like to try a selection course for your comments. And this selection course is a ball buster.
What's a selection course? What is that, like
Well,
a study course?
When
or
they
something?
want new guys in the SAS, they go out to the para brigade and all the different brigades, and those guys go through their own tests to make sure they're quality to get into the SAS, because they want to be in the SAS. You know, it's just the elite unit.
Yeah.
And so when I hit there, I said, Collier, perhaps you'd like to try a selection course for your comments.
Okay.
They just want to see, I'm sure they just want to see if this yank could
Busting
take
your
it.
chops.
And what an experience that was. You just got I think a 55-pound rucksack on your back.
Oh,
And you go out and you walk through the moors and the Brecon beacons of Wales.
Oh, man.
I mean, it was fabulous. And I got through it.
Okay.
They were proud of me. They said, they didn't care too much about my Yankee comment. It's friggin' tough, isn't it, Collier? But they were proud of me, and they gave me the beret and the
No, that's good. You earned it.
the symbol.
Hmm.
So that was one. And you know, I got to go to the Night of the Garter ceremony.
Hmm.
This Viscount Slim's son, John Slim, terrific guy. He was the second in charge.
Hmm.
And I said, I'd sure like to go to the Night of the Garter ceremony. Here came 2 tickets. So I took a buddy of mine with me, and in the chapel with the royalty.
Yeah, wow.
Got a tour of
what an
Windsor
experience.
Castle.
Okay,
Because his
wow.
father was the Viscount Slim. He was in charge of Windsor
Wow.
Castle. I had a drink with him and a tour. It was just a terrific year. I got into Aden, Libya, down to the Liberator bomber that crashed during World War II in the North African desert. We do desert navigation down to that. I got one shot there. And then it was just a fascinating year.
So you got to see the world, you
A
traveled the world, you met
millionaire.
different cultures, you learned different languages, you had all these experiences, probably met some great people.
Yep.
And, life-changing.
A millionaire would pay $1 million to have that year
I
with the
bet.
SAS.
That
They were
good, huh?
great
Wow.
guys. We'd be in a bar somewhere and some civilian would start at me. The trouble with you Americans, and I got a picture of David Gilbert Smith in there with his fist clenched standing in a photo with me. Belt up, mate. Boy, that guy would shut up.
Those guys were tough.
He'd drop. We can tease our American officer. You got to keep your mouth shut. Oh, I loved them. They were
man,
great.
good guys.
That's another enriching experience.
Yeah,
A lifetime of experiences in that 1 year. God, it was wonderful.
Do you still keep in touch with any of those guys?
I
or
did for a
you
while,
after
but
that?
you know, years pass, and
Life happens, and
Well,
and yeah.
like around here, of all the people I knew when I moved here at age 42, most of them are gone. If they
Yeah,
were a year or two older than I was.
that happens.
I stayed in touch with them for a while, and a couple of them came to Fort Bragg while I was General York's aide.
Okay.
So,
Oh wow.
yeah. So anyway, after I came back from the year with the British Army, I got assigned to 18th Airborne Corps,
Okay.
and I was in Special Forces, and I was assigned to write the contingency plans. 18th Airborne. 18th Airborne Corps deployed the 82nd Airborne Division. And
Okay.
of course, they had an annex, Special Operations,
Hmm.
for the Special Forces
Okay,
attached
wow.
to them.
Huh.
And I was the contingency plans officer, writing the Special Forces annexes.
Wow.
And that was a good experience too. While I was briefing General York, he told General Malloy that I'd like that young man to interview be my senior aide.
Okay.
He had
Wow.
a junior aide and a senior aide. I was a major at the time. I'd been
Mm.
promoted to major. And sure enough, General York selected me to be his aide.
So you work side by side with the general there.
Yeah, as I said, I don't know about all his protocols, so when he was interviewing me, he said, John, you just be an alter ego. Try to
Mm.
think like I think, keep your
Mm.
eyes and ears open for me. And
Mm.
that's exactly what I did.
A good experience, good training, and
Well, I don't know if he knew my I guess I told him about my background. He was an orphan kid too. His
Oh,
Uncle
okay.
Johnny
Oh,
brought him.
wow.
He was from
Huh.
Hartselle, Alabama. I got a beautiful photo, several photos of him, but he was just a quiet, steady man. And
Yeah.
I heard that a general named Terry Allen said he was that General York, as a young officer, was the best officer he ever saw, the bravest, out with his men.
Wow.
Yeah, so he was just a wonderful, wonderful man. And as I say in subsequent things, one of the influences on my life. Yeah.
I bet you got to work so close to him. You saw him up close and his personality, and you got that experience. So
Absolutely.
probably affected you a lot, and you know, had a big influence on his life. So.
He was patient, quiet, but tough. Yeah, and just a polite gentleman. Just a great experience.
Yeah,
Be
it
around
sounds
him.
like
Yeah.
your time in the military is really life changing and valuable, you know,
Yeah.
to you.
And so when General York retired, General Tolson took over. He's from New Bern, North Carolina. And I worked with him for a while, but now it's 1968. And early 69, I said, General Tolson, I'd like to volunteer to go back to Vietnam because it was really heating up. So sure enough, I got assigned to as operations officer to 3rd Battalion, 187th Infantry, the Rockasons, highly decorated battalion. It was commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Weldon Honeycutt, Tiger. I think he'd been General Westmoreland's driver, and he nicknamed him Tiger.
Tiger, huh?
Yeah,
Because he was tough? Or?
Yeah, he came up, just a poor kid from Georgia. He enlisted, decorated in Korea, got commissioned, and so General Tolson had sent me, I was going to go to the Cav. When I got to the headquarters, they said, no, you're going to the 101st. General Zace asked for you. General Zace? Wow. Well, I met, when we were on the Baltimore riots, General Zace was down there representing DA and seeing what General York and the troops were doing, how they were doing. And so, of course, I got to know General Zace. And there's another story there. The reason you probably remember. To back up, when we were on civil disturbances coordinating, when I met General Zace up in, I think it was Baltimore, where we were having some meetings. And General York and I were walking in uniform. This is all a lot of anti-Vietnam stuff going on.
Oh, yeah, I know. I've heard.
And we were walking to a meeting to meet General Zace, and this blowhard and his girlfriend stepped out right in front of General York. General York could have flattened this guy. He boxed at West Point.
Wow.
And the guy said, "You sorry bastards. We're in uniform." Boy, I jumped in front of General York.
Lay that guy out.
And I said, "Step aside. Step aside. You and her, step aside, or I'm going to put a boot up your ass and hers too. Step aside and shut up." And remember, I was 175 pounds fit. General York probably could have flattened. So he's
you're doing your job.
Such a great guy. We walk about 10 or 15 paces. Like Mercy, he's so quiet. Yeah, John, that's one way of handling it. So I'm sure he told General Zace that story.
Yeah, this guy's
So when I got to Vietnam, General Zace showing me around the Ashow and all, and this is what we're doing, John, and eating back at the headquarters. Meanwhile, Honeycutt's waiting for his new S3. And so after a couple of days of that, General Zace said, "Did you consider being my aide?" I said, "General Zace, with all due respect, sir, you know, I've been an aide. No, I didn't want to get the reputation of being an aide."
You get stuck in that...
No, I understand, John. That was his old battalion anyway, the Rockasons. Yeah, okay. Report up to Honeycutt today. So I report into Honeycutt, and he's waiting for this privileged guy, you know. I report in. Major Collier report. Oh, West Point Collier, huh?
Boy.
So he threw the gauntlet down. The Charlestown kid picked it up. We laughed about this when we met about. I said, no, as a matter of fact, Bowdoin College Collier, ROTC, sir. He looked at me for a long time.
You thought you were West Point, huh?
He thought I was some privileged kid being shown around by the general. You know? Maybe a general's kid. I was just a poor kid like him. So I said, well, I'm glad to be here, sir, and maybe go out and have a few days with Raffaele. Tell the helicopter to take you out and bring him back. So he just watched me like a hawk, and we got to know each other and like each other, and of course we went through Hamburger Hill together.
Yeah, wow. We definitely got to get into
Yeah.
that. You can keep talking. I'm just gonna check that, make sure that everything's
Oh,
going
yeah.
good on the video and the audio. Everything's good here. Yeah. All right, perfect. And then sometimes just check this light, make sure it's green. The battery's good on the microphone, right? All right, perfect. Let's see, and then we can put me in there.
Yeah. Honeycutt was a good commander.
How long did you serve under him?
Well,
This was your second tour in Vietnam, right?
this was my second tour in Vietnam in '69,
Hmm.
and I served under him, and then he left. He got transferred out after Hamburger Hill, and a new commander came in, and I got hit in the leg in Hamburger Hill, got
Oh, wow.
patched up and came back out. Wasn't
Wow.
that bad, but
Hmm.
we were on a different fire base now. This is after Hamburger Hill, and new commander, and I was running around. Of course, the enemy hits you the first night you're there because you're not dug in or not too much and everything. And I was running around in the dark trying to see what was going on the perimeter.
This is your first day out there.
This is the first day on a new fire base in
Wow.
the dark, yeah. And I fell down a crevasse or a ravine and got a kind of Joe Theismann break. Boom, my leg's sticking out, and I'm down there cursing. Some sergeant said, "You okay?" I said, "No, I broke my goddamn leg."
Your first day out there.
Within not very, it was one of the first
One of the
nights
first
or so
days.
we were out
Wow.
there, yeah. And of course, I got flown out with the wounded. I was so aggravated.
Yeah, I bet.
But then got shipped, back to the States, back to 18th Airborne Corps.
And there's a video you told me floating around somewhere. They did an interview. There was a TV crew came out.
Yeah,
and
on
you're-
Hamburger Hill. Yep. I don't remember doing that, but my daughter alerted me to it.
Okay, so she
And-
knows it's out there somewhere.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Probably
I
on
think.
YouTube.
Yeah.
It's
It's ultra rare Vietnam War footage /
Hmm.
the assault on Hamburger Hill. It's unedited because you get 5, 4, 3, 2, 1
Yeah.
color
that's
bars
just-
and by God, she was right. I'm walking around with my map, and then they interview Honeycutt, my boss, Weldon Honeycutt, cocky guy. That's why we came here, wasn't it, to wipe him out? And then I don't remember the interview, but there it is forever. Guy sticking a mic under my chin. This is Major John Collier from Charlestown, Mass. About a 5 or 6 minute interview.
Wow.
And my daughter says, 3 things, Dad, to see you in combat. You were really working that chewing gum. And you sounded like John Kennedy. Hadn't been in Banner out for 45 years. I still have the Boston accent, yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
it
You
was
never lose
nice,
that.
nice to be part of history.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
I'm sure we can find that and maybe try to put that in the video too, It'd probably be
Yeah.
interesting to see and go
Yeah.
back there and see.
I was proud to have it. Yeah, nice to have it.
So you did your second tour and then they flew you back to the States and then what happened from there?
Well, let's see, I remember, so I broke my leg. God, I was so irritated with that. Anyway, I flew back to the hospital, and while I was in the hospital, of course, Honeycutt learned that so he called me, and he said, "Who presented your Silver Star to you?" I said, did I get awarded? And boy, he was so irritated. I said, "God damn it." And when I got,
They never even told you, that's why he was frustrated?
yeah, he wrote me up for Silver Star for my action on Hamburger Hill. I've got the script of it if you're interested in
Okay,
reading.
yeah, sure.
There's a newspaper article there
Okay, we can include it.
about mine. Anyway, so yeah, when I got back to assigned to 18th Airborne Corps, General Tolson was still there, and he's
wow.
got photo. He pins the Silver Star on me.
Wow.
Well, the Silver Star, yes, I'm proud of it, and I earned it, but it represents more than the guy wearing it. There's probably a lot of unrecognized soldiers that did brave things in the last few minutes that never get recognized. So I wear it proudly. It represents many other men, I'm sure, that behave.
Carry it for them too.
Yeah, it represents them too. Exactly right. So where were we now?
It sounds like you've had a distinguished career in the military too, and
Well, I did. I could show
great
you.
experiences.
I could show you. Well, I was at Fort. Well, when I got back from.
Yeah, sure. We
Then I
can
gotta
follow you if you want.
Pardon?
We can come with you if you want, or were you gonna bring
No,
something?
one second. I'm gonna
Oh.
bring this.
You can pause it if you want him to. Just hit pause. Just
So
make
let's
sure
see.
it's
Let's see
recording.
where we were.
It's good. Okay, and the lights on and the microphone still.
I mean,
good?
I could talk forever in the Army, so we got plenty of
Yeah,
hours.
yeah.
Stuff.
I think so. I think the next thing I have here in the papers, we get into family life and having kids and
Yeah.
parenting.
Well, let's see.
Is that
No,
what you
let's
have
see.
too?
Career, after the career is passions and hobbies. We don't get into the family life yet.
I've got parenting here, so we do adulthood. This is your accomplishments and important people in your life. We talked about your military history.
Okay.
And then after that, I've got parenting. We can do that, or
Well, I got page 6 parent.
let's see. I've got career here. We talked about that.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
military. I've got passions, hobbies.
Oh, yeah,
We can get
okay.
into that. Yeah.
Well, golf.
Oh, I bet you're.
Well, they ask you about your hobbies. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I'd say
What's-
golf because, well, like most about it is the comradeship of friends out there
Mhm.
in a pleasant setting.
Mhm.
The other thing I like about golf, is it on?
Is it on? We're recording. Okay.
Yeah.
We're
The
good.
other thing I like about golf, and it's already paying off,
Hmm.
my grandchildren play. Kristen, my daughter, plays, and my son-in-law plays. JJ and, Dave plays too, yeah. But now, little Jake and Ella, Kristen's 2 kids, they are classy golfers.
They're pretty good.
Yeah,
huh?
they can play
Yeah.
bogey golf.
Oh wow. They've
Which
got
is about
skills
all
there.
I play, so I can't wait to play a
Uh-huh.
round of golf with them. That was the nice thing about golf.
It sounds like you guys get time to spend together, and
Yeah.
you build relationship there, and you do something you enjoy. And
Absolutely.
in this area, it's perfect. There's golf courses all over the place,
Yeah.
so you can't beat
No,
that.
we haven't played it, but I can't wait to play with both. Well, the daughter, what's she, about 11 or 12 now, Ella, but the boy, 8 or 9, he's the one that's avid for
Yeah,
golf.
he's good, huh?
And Kristen likes her golf
Mm.
too. All right, so where were we? Couples? Is that next? Or?
Yeah, we could do couples on marriage and that kind of phase of your life.
Okay,
if we
well,
want to get into that's up
that-
to you. Whatever
this
you're
is
comfortable. with.
This is the one where I think
Yeah,
Kristen
she
said, go
"Mm,
easy.
Got it. Whatever you're comfortable with.
Well, a friend introduced me to Kathy on a date when I was home recovering from Vietnam. A fraternity brother, Polish, and Kathy's Polish, so they were from Peabody,
They knew each other.
Polish, big Polish community.
Hmm.
And I don't know about reference to question the one. I mean, I was 2 weeks shy of 36 when I thought it's time
Oh,
to
wow.
get
Yeah. You were
It's
focused
time
on the
to get
military for
married.
so long, huh?
As far as proposing, it was
Uh-huh.
I just came right out and said, maybe we should consider it. And Kathy was saying too, I remember she said to my stepsister, Carmel, well, in Charlestown, we'd make a good team. But anyway, we had a very nice wedding in Boston. And
Is she from there originally too? From
she's from
Boston?
Peabody, Mass.
Oh, Massachusetts. Okay.
Massachusetts, yeah. I met her up there when I was home on leave.
Okay.
Recuperating.
Mhm.
The things about the cherished memories of Kathy. She delivered me 3 beautiful kids, and a devoted mother, and a very capable nurse. Boy, if you're sick, she knows
Yeah.
what to do.
She's good.
Admire her disciplines.
Mhm.
And even though eventually divorced, I still love and respect her, and she feels the same way.
That's good.
So, kind of a
That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a good question I'd love to ask. What advice would you give your kids, grandkids, on marriage and relationships?
Which page is that on? 7?
This is 7, yeah. So not just on marriage, I know.
Well, the main thing I think is direct honesty with your spouse and communicate. I think I think a lot of divorces could be avoided if there was more communication.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's true. That's good. And it sounds like too that yeah, that's a big deal on relationship.
And the other thing is, and I'm advising my son Dave, who's going through that, don't burn bridges.
That's true.
Don't burn bridges. I mean, I don't want to get too personal. My
Understand.
daughter didn't want me to get
Yeah,
too
be
personal.
careful.
No, but my daughter didn't want me to get too personal. But I'll tell you what, she's the mother of 3 kids. You stay in touch, and you know, she'd probably done things differently. And but it is what it is. So you don't burn your bridges.
It makes sense. Do the best you can. Maintain the relationship as well as you can.
Sure. Now we'll
you
all
know,
be together
you
at
know.
Christmas time, and all the kids flying down to be with their
That's
mother.
true. You can part on good terms. You know.
Exactly.
It's
Right.
important.
Yep.
Now, this thing I have here is for veterans, but you know,
Pretty
we
well
did
went
that.
through
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that was
Yeah,
a good
we've
one.
covered that pretty much.
Spirituality, religion,
Well,
values. There are a
that's-
few things you want to.
Yeah, that's pretty. Of course, my mother was a Protestant lady, but when she married Joe Collier in those days, you know, the strict Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
area,
in Boston, especially.
Plus, she liked the religion, so she converted,
Mm.
and we were brought up as little Catholic kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have to
Go to mass.
you go through all of it, the confirmation.
Oh yeah.
You go to you go to mass and communion, so you go up and tell the
Communion.
priest your sins,
Mm-hmm.
but I went to Bowdoin College. I didn't go to a Catholic affiliated college. You know, it was associated with the Episcopal Church or Congregationalist Church. But anyway, it wasn't a Catholic environment. I probably went to mass once in a while at college, but slowly I drifted away from it. And what are the other questions there?
Let's see. What place does religion have in your life? How did you come to your faith? How has your faith evolved over time? What would you like to tell your children, friends, family about your faith?
Okay, here's what I tell my kids, and it's as I say, I'm not a churchgoer now, but in every kid's room and out there, I've got the plaque, is the prayer of St. Francis. And I don't care what religion you are, it's guided me, and it's a copy in my wallet.
Wow.
And I mean, you can't have a better
Let's
a
get
better
it. Let's
philosophy. One second.
look
When
at
you
it,
get-
read
I
it.
don't- You don't have to be a churchgoer or even a believer.
It still applies to humans, you know.
Well, that's why I call it the house philosophy.
You can pause it and too until he gets back. Oh, okay.
I mean,
Oh, I see. Oh, wow.
are you familiar with it?
I've seen it before.
Well,
oh, yeah.
I mean-
no, I've seen it.
Lord, make me this me a peace. With his hatred, let me sow love. With his injury, you pardon. With his doubt, faith. With his despair, hope. With his darkness, light. And with his sadness, joy. Now, for guiding your life, divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console.
Yeah, well,
To be understood as to understand. To be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, and it is in pardoning that we are pardoned. And it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. That
that's
is a
good.
guide.
He's deep.
That's a guide for anyone to live by.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't hold resentments, grudges. Think of giving rather than receiving. I mean, that's all you need to
It
live
summarizes. Yeah,
by. Yeah,
a lot.
forgive and forget.
That's true.
And
Do to others.
Sure. yeah, try to If someone's going through a hard time and they're down, bring them hope and light. I mean,
that's good.
that's in every kid's room by their
That's
bed.
good.
Yeah, that's what I preach to them. So that's kind of my religious thing. I'm not too much of a churchgoer anymore.
Yeah, but those are good values.
But I encourage my kids to follow that philosophy. All right?
And the next thing I have here, do you have it there, page A, identity? So these are questions about yourself personally.
Yeah.
And
Good. Well, ask the question and I'll see what.
I've got, what do you think are your 3 best qualities, your 3 worst?
My 3 words.
We can edit as you need.
No, well,
we can skip
my 3
anything
best
you need.
qualities, I think, I try to be openly honest. Just dead honest about things. I'm disciplined. Of course, the military and growing up the way I did, working as a little kid at all different jobs and everything. And my love of people. I just love people.
I do see that, and I
Talk
get
to
that
everybody.
too. And that's why we're here today too. I came to get a stain. I immediately thought of you when this project came up.
I like
because you're good with people.
I just, my daughter thinks I overdo it a little bit sometimes. But I see an old couple up at Food Lion, and I walk up, the guy doesn't even know me. How you doing, sir? Huh? Okay. You're a lucky stiff. I poke him on the shoulder. What? You're a lucky stiff. He gets irritated. What? I saw her hitchhiking years ago. I didn't have the balls to pick her up, and you did. That's right, 62 years ago. Or I'll see an old guy walking along, even in a walker or with a cane. People walk by like they don't exist. Probably lives alone. I don't know. How you doing, sir? Huh? Okay. I always ask him first. We ever in the Army? Oh, yeah. What were you in? Infantry. Then you know what this arm and hand signal means. Pick up the pace. And I get to know the old guy. Wear him out for 20 minutes. But that enriches your life, you know?
Definitely a big strength of yours. I'll tell a quick story too. When I first met you, I went home. I told my wife, I said, I met this guy named John Collier, Big John. His son had a
That's
great
what they
history
call me.
on beach,
Yeah.
and he's in a magazine. I got the article, and I started telling her about you, and she said, you know what? I actually met him in the supermarket a couple weeks ago, and she talked with you for the same, you know? And so she knew you and met you even before I met you, but you stick in people's mind, you know, and they don't forget. You make a good impression on people.
Well, thank you. Yeah, another one I like, and again, I go up to shop for 10 minutes, and my daughter would just say, don't be there an hour when she visits. But, you know, I'll see a woman, a couple, with a couple of pretty little girls, and I walk right up and I say, oh, ma'am, wait till I tell my daughter, I talk to her every day, young movie stars in Banner Elk. And every so often, some little girls say, yes, I am. And you chat with them and tell them how blessed they are to have those beautiful kids. And that's why they remember you. I mean,
yeah, that's good. You're full of life, you know, and it's what
I
it's about.
just like people. And
That's good.
I'm interested to hear about them, where they're from and what they've done. It enriches your life. And like you say, you go around town, oh, I met you the other day.
Oh.
I went into the doctor's office the other day. I have to get these prostate pills every so often. And the lady was coming out. I said, how's it going? She said, well, how's it going with you? Remember we met at the park and you talked about your son. I said, oh, yeah, that's not too good. I have to meet a forget a pretty woman. Cut up a little bit. It enriches your life.
Yeah,
You want
that's
to
true.
be just an old grump.
No, you still want to live life and enjoy and make an impact.
Exactly. We get into
You know,
that on the
never
old
give up.
age
You know.
thing.
Sometimes you meet people that just kind of give up on life, but there's always more life to live. You know, and so.
It's the happiest time of my life.
I hear you.
Now,
That's
3
good.
worst things. I'm sometimes impatient. You know, I like things done right.
Yeah, I hear you.
Sometimes I worry too much. JJ's the same way. You know, I just worry about their safety, these killings in the cities, and Dave drives around the Porsche in Charlotte, and, you know.
Big city crime, I understand.
Big city crime.
Yeah.
And sometimes I might be too judgmental. I mean, I'm a harsh judge.
Tough, huh? Oh.
Oh, some guy's a blowhard, I'll tell him you're a blowhard.
That may be your Boston upbringing too, no filter, you just tell it like it is, and bottom line.
That's exactly
That's
right.
kind of a New York.
No, that's, I'll tell you that,
East
in
Coast
Charlestown, if you're a phony,
thing.
those
You can
townies will
tell.
take it out of you in a heartbeat.
It's true. No BS there,
Yeah.
know.
No,
That's
that's exactly
true.
right.
That's a New York thing right there.
Yeah.
New York.
My
Boston,
favorite book,
Massachusetts. Favorite book and why?
well, there are so many, but I'll tell you what, if you've never read it, Thomas Wolfe, Look Home with Angel.
Okay.
Look Home with Angel.
Mm.
What a book.
Mm.
And many others, as you can see.
I know. Yeah,
I'll-
you're an avid reader.
I'll never get to read them all, that's for sure. Once again, I couldn't resist, you go to the Salvation, here's a $5, $10, $20 book for 50 cents.
Yeah.
So I'll never get to read them all, but
I'm the same.
when I
way.
pass on, someone will have a nice library. Favorite,
Favorite movie and why?
I don't know about
Big-
any
bigger
particularly
movies.
favorite movie, I'd have to think about that.
No.
I'll think on that, maybe
No problem.
Mutiny on the Bounty is one I would
Okay.
think of
That's a
right
good
away,
one,
yeah.
huh?
But where do we get to poems? That's,
Let's talk about that. We can add whatever you want
I
here
mean-
too. Every questionnaire has, is there anything else you'd like to share? So let's
Yeah.
talk about your favorite poems and what's had
my
had a
favorite,
big
like I was
impact on
telling
your
you earlier, Emerald, I feel like saying diamond.
life.
She's not an emerald in the rough, she's a pure, smooth emerald. The poetry, the schools, and we probably get to this too, but infant student. My teachers in school, I mean, like I say, it would be a fall day and the first snowflakes would come down. Oh, close your books, everybody, read a section. The snow had begun gloaming busily all the night and heaping fields. Or I remember lots of times in the army, you have
Mhm.
quiet moments, a poem would come in.
Mm.
Maybe there's a gray mist, so I must go down to the sea again,
Mhm.
the lonely sea in the sky, and all
Mhm.
I ask is a tall ship and a star to stir by. John Masefield's Sea Fever. Or a quiet moment, you think of whose woods these are. I think I know his house in the village, though he'll not see me.
Mm.
Watch his woods fill up with snow.
Wow.
Robert Frost.
Mhm.
And Flanders Fields, of course, a great patriotic poem. I don't know if kids get that.
Oh, wow, man, that's good. Yeah, you don't hear a lot of poetry nowadays. It's
Flanders
true.
Fields, the poppies grow between the crosses, row and row that mark our place. And in the sky, the lark, still bravely singing, flies, is
Mm.
scarce heard mid the guns below.
Mm.
We are the dead. Short days ago we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved. But now we lie in Flanders Fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you, with failing hands, we throw the torch. Be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who lie, we shall not sleep, even though poppies grow in Flanders Fields.
Wow.
That's enriching.
Wow, that's good. I get chills listening to that. It's so
Well,
good.
it's-
Wow,
it's
powerful.
enriching.
Yeah, yeah.
It's in your quiet moments those poems come back to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
And of course, Longfellow, the long one, Evangeline. I mean, just so many. I credit those old-timey teachers
Mm.
for giving us, our English teachers, giving us all those poems.
You think about all those years since you were in grade school and how
Yeah.
it still had an impact on you. You can still remember and quote
Yeah, I can-
verbatim those
yeah, I can quote
poems,
them.
and they still have an impact.
Because they stuck in my mind. There's one beautiful poem. It's Longfellow, Cross of Snow. His wife died, and he never ever got over bereaving her.
Mm.
In the long sleepless watches of the night, I see a face, a gentle face of one long dead, who looks at me from the wall where round her head a night lamp casts a halo of pale light. Here in this room she died, and a soul more pure never through martyrdom of fire was led to its repose.
Wow.
There's a mountain in the distant west that, sun-defying, bears a cross of snow upon its side. Such is the cross I've borne on my chest to all the changing seas and seasons, changeless since the day she died. What a poem.
Wow.
What
That's
a poem for bereavement. I mean, just enriches your life. I don't know why people don't.
Yeah, that's true.
Learn
When you,
more.
when you
And
say it's
luckily-
inspiring me to get some books on poetry and start reading.
Well,
Wow.
here's the problem.
Uh,
I probably read a lot of more nice ones as you get older, but boy, you can't memorize the way you do when you're a kid.
Yeah.
that's
I
true.
mean, no, you just, and plus they enrich your life.
Mm. Man,
All right, that's it on poetry,
That's
huh?
so good.
What else you got?
You tell me, I've got a good one here. If you won $1 million tomorrow, what would you do with the money? 100 million.
If I won 100 million, I would enjoy giving it
Mhm.
away to less fortunate people. I have all the money I need. Kathy might just.
Yeah,
No, but you know, you see an old lady working up at Lowe's and
working hard.
sweeping a floor. I mean, what's her background?
Mm.
Obviously, she doesn't have any money. She's not a wealthy lady, and hard luck cases.
Mm.
Like at Christmas time, Zach and I, the kid that was running down here, we're going to ask the cops or the mayor, Brenda Wiley, lovely lady,
Mm.
a couple of hard luck cases in Bannerell.
Mm.
Fill a basket.
Just go to the homes, knock on the doors, and
This is for you.
Mhm.
I mean, I carry $5 and $10 bills in my wallet, and the girls that work at the checkout up at Lowe's or something, we're not allowed to take tips.
Mm.
I said, well, I'll catch you in the parking lot sometime and give you a birth.
Mhm.
You give a $5, $10 tip to those kids, and boy,
It's a big deal.
yeah, I buy cigarettes and I give the girl the change.
Mhm.
It's already up over $7, so
Oh,
it's crazy
wow,
to
my
smoke.
God.
I don't smoke too
Oh,
much, but
yeah.
my daughter says, how many cigarettes you have today? She knows I sneak. I'll smoke 3 or 4 a day. Did you take a bath this week? I took a bath at Thanksgiving. For God's sake, I have dry skin. But no, you give a couple of bucks change to the girl. When you go in there, they know what cigarettes you smoke.
Mm-hmm.
They remember you.
Yeah, that's
And it's
true.
also, are you in school here? Are you working? I mean, there's students, or their husband doesn't make much money and they're working for minimum wage, 10, 12 bucks an hour. Just a couple of dollars is nothing to me.
Goes
To
a
them,
long
it's
way.
I respect you and they remember you. So,
That's true.
and plus I joke with them. I make like, not like a big sick. This is for not telling my daughter. Don't
Hush
tell-
money? Is that hush money?
Yes, hush money. No, yeah, that's exactly right. Promise not to tell my daughter.
Oh.
And then I'll walk outside the store and here's some guy or some gal or whatever having a cigarette. I won't tell your mother if you don't tell my daughter.
Touche.
Good for a laugh.
Oh, yeah.
Good
yeah,
for a laugh.
That's true.
And then when
That's
I
good.
joke and laugh with people like that, it's true. I
Mhm.
tell them about a study. And
Mhm.
by God, when I went, you know, Kristen's cautioned me about be careful what you say. When I got back from my last trip, she sent me an email. By God, you're right, Dad. They did a 7-year study, serious university study of people that lived over 100.
Mm.
And they had the bar graphs, you know, your DNA counts,
Mhm.
exercise, don't
Mhm.
smoke too much, don't
Mhm.
drink too much. But the 2 longest bars by a long shot at the top. Second from the top, though, a rich, loving family life.
Mm.
That'll help you live a long time. But you could withdraw into it, too, as an older person.
Mm.
The longest bar, what we're joking about. Talking to people, joking,
Yeah,
laughing.
okay. Right.
Good stuff goes in
Uh-huh.
their bloodstream when they laugh, and they
Mm.
prove that chemically,
Wow, that's
and
true.
good goes into your own. But
Mm.
it keeps you connected to people.
Mhm.
Chat, laugh, meet new people.
True.
They said that's what added to. So I joke with people. I'm gonna
Sounds
live
like
to be
it,
100.
it feeds the soul. You
It
know.
fills your soul,
Mhm.
sure, and you get to know people, enriches your life. Next time you see people, I remember you, we chatted.
Uh-huh.
But I joke with people. I say, so in honor of the 101st Airborne Division, I'm going to live to be 101. You get shot by a jealous lover.
What a way to go.
What a way to go. You know, again, it's good for a laugh.
Yeah, that's true. It's definitely healthy.
Yep. Where are we there?
We can, what things are most important to you now and why? You know, I think we just got into that too, relationships and people.
And my children.
You know.
My
Family,
children
yeah.
are the most,
Mhm.
they're the most. And you know, there again, you know, life starts rough, but I don't know, God, whatever has a way of evening it out, because I couldn't have three better kids.
Mm.
I mean, JJ's happy, quality, successful kid. Dave is happy, quality, successful guy with his business, a t-shirt business in Pink Floyd. And JJ, of course, in the clothing. And Kristen doesn't have to work. I mean, she's got a very successful husband, a patent attorney, but she feels she should contribute, even with two kids at home. My brother Bobby owned a meat market, very popular butcher. He learned to be a butcher working at First National. He opened his own shop. And let's see, where was I? So,
Yeah, what's important to you?
yeah, what's
Family,
important,
yeah.
sure. So
kids.
Kristen doesn't have to work,
Mm.
but she took, when my brother Bobby died and the store closed, she is Collier's Market, and she
Mm.
does gourmet in-home meals for these busy two-income people that are working up there. She's called Collier's Market. It's just a quality girl, and all three of them, so that's a blessing. You know, there's a guy working at a shop around here, and his son was hooked on drugs. My God bless, my heart broke for him. I mean,
It's tough.
so to have three kids that are straight. And the other thing, I don't know if it's this part or somewhere else, but my kids, they tell me, and they write it every so often, that I was the best dad they could dream of. I mean, what?
Well, you can't beat that.
You can't beat that.
Mm.
You can't beat that. I mean, they're like that, boy. They love their dad.
Mm.
I love their mom too, but yep. So
that's good.
that's what makes life great right now. I don't care how old you are.
I see a theme of people, relationships, you know,
Absolutely.
and you're right. When you get to your age and you
Yeah.
go through all this stuff in life and you realize at the end it's just about people. You know?
That's exactly right.
Mm.
Where else are we on this?
What are you happiest doing when you're not working?
Visiting with my kids.
Uh-huh. There you go.
Let's see. Seriously, when I'm not
You're not working.
I
you
don't
know?
work
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah. What are you happiest doing?
I have a busy
In
day.
life.
I get up in the morning. That's a successful
Yeah, that's a
start.
success.
I smoke that cigarette I'm not supposed to have.
We'll edit this out.
Look out over the valley and thank God for what I've got. It's a beautiful view on top of this hill. But what is it? What do I like to do when I'm not working?
What are you happiest doing? What brings you the most joy?
Well, of
in
course,
your life?
being with my kids when I can get that. But just reading the day and being out.
Enjoy life.
When you talk to everybody the way I do. The other thing, if you talk long enough with someone, I'm not talking about everybody know who's the president is. You chat where they're from, where they came from. Bingo! God, did you know him? Did you know her?
That's true.
Sure, it's amazing the way people travel around.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what's so much fun, to discover who they are, where they're from, and what they do. And you're right, they remember you.
There's so many connections here. I said I met this guy. I met him too a few weeks ago, and you know, and it's so.
It's not like New York City.
No, I don't know anybody. Never see him again.
You better live a straight life here where people know all about you.
Yeah, that's true. It can work for you and against you, small town.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's true. How have your dreams and goals changed throughout your life?
I don't know. That's as a child, I just wanted to survive as a child. I hope I make some money
You
in
made that
shining
goal.
shoes tonight. But I've stayed pretty steady, I think. Talking about shining shoes, like I said, my kids joke, but back in 1945, the adults were probably earning 45 cents an hour, right?
Well, yeah,
So you
yeah.
shine
45,
shoes for 10
that's
cents.
true.
I was down the Navy Yard, not my normally locale. I normally shine shoes on Friday night for the guys going out on dates, and Saturday night on the corner of Bunker Hill Street and Green Street. And I was down the Navy Yard one Saturday morning. This guy came out of a bar, wasn't drunk, and hey, Whitey, how about a shine? I had white blonde hair, and he was okay. I knew I'd already lived in the city long enough. He was not an evil guy trying to pick up a kid or anything. And he was chatting with me, and probably reminded him of his kids at home. today I would have asked them, how many kids you got, how old are they, but it's a shoe shine, but I just shining his shoe. So when I finished, he handed me $1. I said, oh, I'm sorry, you're my first son, I don't have any change. You keep it, you did a good job.
Wow.
Tossing my hair. Well, that was, I mean, that would have been 10 shines. And plus it was about 2 or 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours pay for an adult at the time.
Yeah, wow.
Boy,
You think about
I
that,
wasn't in my
huh?
own usual place too. I was down the other end of town at Charlestown at the time. I put that in my sneaker and got on home.
Wow. And it
Yeah.
still made an impact on you all these
Yeah.
years, never forgot.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But you know, talking about joking with people, you got to be so careful because around here, people, they love it. But people come from the city or
Big
something.
cities
Sometimes, well, now you walk up to the children and talk to them, and they're not used to it, I guess.
There's less trust and less.
Yeah, less
you
trust,
know,
sure.
more
And
suspicion.
but I joke with them. I say, well, you know, the child will kind of get hanker behind the parent. I say, you know, come to me. How would I feel if a 40-foot giant come up and said, "How you doing, old guy?" Jesus.
Oh.
So be careful.
Yeah, that's
Don't
true.
a little child, you know, but it would terrify. But children remember. I remember I was in the farm, at the farm, and a lady visited Mr. Jesso, and she came up to me, this lady, and she put her finger, and I'm 6 or 7 years old, I never forgot it. That's where God said, "You're done." She just being friendly to me, touched me on my little cleft chin.
Wow.
So kids remember.
Uh-huh.
Kids remember. You know, one thing that's in there, not in there, is how close have you come to death in your lifetime?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write that down.
That is a
I'll
good one.
remember that.
Because here's 3 examples. On the farm, well, I got lost in the woods. I remember my sister telling me this. Before I was out, while my mother was alive, they lost me. I wandered off into the little wooded area around that. And they couldn't find me all afternoon. I'd fallen asleep.
Oh. Actually, must have been sick.
And fell asleep. The next near-death, that wasn't near-death.
Maybe for your mom, you know.
Near-death for my mother, God bless her. So, but I'm on the farm, and we're up in a hayloft. Now this is, in the farm, I went to only first grade there, so I was about 7. I'm up in the hayloft, and I fell out of the hayloft head first into a cement trough for the animals. My friends say, "Well, now we know what's wrong with you." But I was completely unconscious.
Wow.
And coming in and out of consciousness, so they, you know, I don't know what, an ambulance came and got me with a Mr. Jesso, drove me to the hospital. And I remember being half conscious because some lady that was around, she gave me a piece of gum. And of course, I never opened the gum because they were going in and out. So I'm in the hospital overnight, and the nurse came in to check on me, and a couple of nurses, and I said, "Where's my gum?" She said, "He's going to be all right." I just worried about the
That's the first thing you're thinking about.
And then here's, of course, the hitchhiker.
Oh, yeah.
But in Charlestown, I had saved my shoe shine money, and I bought for Christmas time to share with my brothers a sled. And of course, we used to sled down the hills there before they plowed them. Or even after they plowed them, there's still snow on the ground. We had a hill from where we lived up on the hill down onto a main Rutherford Avenue, busy commercial place. So this was close. And we're skidding out, and of course the snow had plowed, and there were embankments of snow along the edge of the highway. We're going down the hill, and boom, we didn't stop in time, and we flew out in the air. It was my brother Bobby, Georgie, and me. Thump, 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 off the edge of a town taxi. He kept going. Wow. He kept going. The sled went under it and crushed my sled that I just bought. Wow. But you talk about funny stories.
It's a close call.
So everybody okay? little baby brother, he said, my ass hurts. He must have bounced. But we bounced off the edge of that cab. We could have all been killed.
And 1 second, difference.
That's exactly right.
Wow.
Yeah, we could
That's
have
close
flown
to
out
death.
just in front of it. But as
That's
it
true.
was, the sled went under, and we bounced off the edge.
You bounced off of it.
We must have been kind of going with the cab.
Oh.
Little Georgie, he was
Wow, close
popped in his nose a little bit when he was younger. My ass hurts. Anyway, where are we?
It's a good question. You had checked this box too. So, this is assuming if I was holding up a mirror to your face and I
Yeah.
would ask, what do you see? So let's say you're looking at yourself, reflecting on yourself. What do you see about yourself? Think about all your years and your life and yourself. What would you answer to that?
Well, throughout life it stayed the same. Happiest with my children, dreams. Where is it?
On page 9.
Page 9. Yeah, okay.
If it's not on there.
No, I got it right,
Oh,
right here. I
okay.
remember thinking about it. When you look in a mirror, I see a decent man whose whole life is etched on his face.
Hmm.
And this is what I mean when I'm judgmental. You'll see some guy, and I don't know if he's good looking or not good looking, but he has a bland face.
Hmm.
There's nothing etched
Mhm.
on it. I'll see it in a politician once in a while. Think, hey,
Hmm.
come on, didn't you do anything? Don't you have any gut feelings that are expressing themselves in your face?
Yeah, even if I could add, even while looking, you see the wrinkles when you smile, and your face is the expression. So you're smiling a lot, and you're using
Yeah.
your face. You're not, it's not frozen. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it
Well,
shows.
I joke with guys in town, some nice, handsome young guys. I'll say, damn it, why do you come in? I'm downtown here thinking of the best looking guy in town. And you walk in and bust my balls, burst my bubble. Good for a laugh.
Oh, I bet they don't forget that.
No, I like to think of myself as a decent guy, so that's what I see in the mirror.
That's good. Now we're still on page 9. We're going to get into going deeper.
Okay,
And
going
so-
deeper.
The first question I have is, what are some of the main things that life has taught you?
Taught me.
And
I used to tell it to my kids, and we used to joke about it all the time. We know, Dad, you'll reap as you sow. You'll
Wow.
reap as you
That's good.
sow.
Oh.
And, what do you pass on to your kids?
Hmm.
That same philosophy, work hard, treat people, the golden rule.
Yeah.
Come on, respect other people, treat them as you'd like to be treated.
Hmm.
You can't go wrong with that. What was the other? You reap as you sow. And one that Zach Hayes and I joke about. We play the Michael Jordan Memorial, throwing our coffee pods across the kitchen. But I sort of my kids the same reason. But never an excuse. There's always a reason. It's a nice word. But boy, I don't know whether it's somewhere else. But one thing I
Tell me.
learned in the Army, and is no excuse, sir.
Hmm.
Boy, when you're new in the Army, if you walk in and something's screwed up and you start making excuses, as old season golf, belt up. I don't want any excuses. I just want it squared away.
Hmm.
So, boy, when you screw up, you walk in and you get maybe your butt chewed or criticized. You say, "I'll straighten it out, sir." You'll learn that. No excuses.
Take ownership.
Yep.
That's good.
Own the failure and don't blame your troops. You're in charge of your troops. You're the one that's wrong. Now you can go back and chew their ass, but don't make any excuse. Don't make any excuse to your boss.
In front of the boss, yeah.
No, you don't make excuses. You get it done right.
Yeah.
That was a good philosophy to pass on to kids.
Oh, that's good. How about what's a moment in your life that you wish you had a photograph of?
Me with my mother and father
Hmm.
as a child. Yeah, I really, I wish well, there's one photograph.
Hmm.
I have no photographs of my father except this one.
Yeah, let's show it. You want to pause? You can pause.
I got it from Francis Dennison.
Okay.
But
You can start again.
this is about a year before she died.
Oh, well, that's your mom.
Yeah, and that, I don't remember my father. He looks like Mickey Rooney there. Mrs. Flynn, he came to the house, you know, a couple of times and he visited there.
Mm.
And Mrs. Flynn said, "What a handsome man." But look at the difference. This is
Yeah.
my mother at age 19 when she graduated, formal under strict
Yeah,
family up there
That's
in
a
Maine.
really serious picture.
But Mrs. Dennison said she adored your father. And look at the
Yeah.
look at the difference in
So
that
hold
happy
this up.
girl there. Even though she
Uh-huh.
had 4 kids underfoot.
Wow.
Here's a serious,
Mhm.
studious a girl. And of course, we all look different in different photographs, but nevertheless,
This is full of life.
she's
you know?
full of life. Yeah,
Mhm.
even though she's struggling with her
Yeah.
4 or 5 kids.
Still has a reason to smile.
Where were we?
What?
Oh yeah, boy. Well, yeah,
photograph.
you know, as I get older, boy, I realize I missed something there. I may never had my own parents.
Mm.
That's what I would like, and I'd love to have had more. I got all kinds of photographs of my mother as a girl growing up from my father, from my Uncle George's side of the family.
Mm.
I mean, my maternal grandmother, even great grandmother.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean,
that's pretty
yeah,
good.
my grandma, yeah, all in that family, you know, that nothing to my dad.
Mm.
That's the only one that has that, the one that. So that's what I'd like to do if I have that photo. What's next?
What are you most grateful for in your life?
Well, I made some notes on it. My friends would kid me on this, but gave me good health,
Mm.
a good appearance, and boy, that makes a big difference in business and in the army. They take your photo every year,
Mm.
and you shouldn't take it for granted. Doesn't mean you have to be egotistical. There's nothing worse than an egotistical person. But if you're blessed with a decent appearance, it counts for a lot. It makes life a lot easier for you. And reasonable intelligence.
Intelligent enough.
I don't know when that 8-year-old grandson says, "Look, Poppy John, it's an app, for God's sake."
Forget it.
No, but you know, because if you don't have those things, life can be tough. If you have poor health and an unappealing appearance, and you're not too swift, life must be awfully tough. Well, you should know, Collier. we have more fun.
If you're from Boston or New York, you've got a PhD in busting chops.
Yeah, exactly. What else?
Let's see. If you could go back to any age, which age would it be and why?
Wait a minute, but God gave me my most grateful for, of course, my 3 children and grandchildren, and the fact that I'm a contented, happy man.
Yeah.
That's what I'm grateful for. I go back and anywhere in my life.
Any age? What age would it be?
Well, it would have to be after it would have to be after the 7-year stretch of foster homes from age 4 to 11. It would have to be.
That wouldn't be
Yep, 19. I don't know. After the foster homes, every phase of my life, it'd be hard to pick a point because, you know, the growing up in Charlestown, it was a boys' club and all that activity. Bowdoin, the Army, and the retirement up here. It'd be hard to pick any one point in my life, really.
There's so many. There's so many different points that would qualify.
Yeah, I've just had a
You want to
happy.
relive.
After the stretch of homes, after age 11, pretty happy life.
That's good.
Yeah. Going down deeper?
Yeah, we're going deeper here.
Okay.
How do you feel now about growing old?
Well, we kind of touched on it. I feel okay
Yeah,
about growing old. I'm lucky with only minor health issues. Probably will never have dementia. If you don't have dementia, I'll be 88 in a week. If you're gonna have dementia, you're gonna have it, I think, before that.
Yeah.
And again, my buddies, you've always had it. No, but no, I feel about growing up, luckily, all the kids and grandkids are handsome, healthy, smart, and loving. I mean, how couldn't I feel good about being old?
Yeah.
You know, and I'm able to go out and play golf with my buddies.
That's pretty good. 88 years old. You're
I've
still
gotten a
out
little
physical.
lazy. I don't maintain my yard the way I used to.
That's all right.
But the best thing is that what it is. The best thing.
I think it sounds like too from hearing you that you're a positive thinker, you know, and so
Yep.
you know, even with the foster care and even the hard times in your life, you still see the good in it that came out of that, and so no matter what age or situation you're in, it just sounds like you're gonna see good and you're gonna enjoy it, you're gonna find the benefit in it, and so it's just a great mindset to have.
I agree with you. Just enjoying, the best thing is just enjoying family and people and not having too much to worry about. And a pleasure of reflecting on my life's journey and people. That's,
People.
yeah, it's always people, isn't it?
Mm. Who's been the most influential person in your life and why?
Well, of all my childhood mentors, you know, all kinds, of course, the teachers in school and everything, but I always hearken back to General York.
Mm-hmm.
He was an orphan kid.
Yeah.
He knew I was, and he was such a sterling example of what a good officer should be.
Kind of a father figure too.
He was absolutely a father figure, absolutely. And he wrote me. Let's see, I've got that fishing report in there somewhere. But he wrote my fishing report and said, I've had several aides de camp. One of whom was a captain of the Corps Cadets at West Point. He was at West Point. And Major Collier was the finest of the lot.
Yeah, wow.
So I jokingly said those guys at DA with screw Collier. But no, I thought that was what a thing to say.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, just a good, loving man, yeah. Father figure. And he had no sons, he had daughters, so
That's why, yeah, like the son he never had, you know.
Oh, we just
You
got
guys-
along great. We'd be in the staff car. In those days, everybody smoked. Smoke in the car. And you'd have a smoke, and I wouldn't have any smokes with me. Now, normally the aide is just,
Yeah.
"Can I bum a cigarette, sir?" "Oh, certainly, John." Then sheepishly, about 10 seconds later, "Got a light?"
You asked him for the light.
He was telling one of his coffee buddies, "I sometimes wonder who's the aide." Try that with some other general, some stuffed shirt. General York.
Throw you off the train.
It just made a good story to tell. I'm supposed to be his aide. Carry the cigarette. I'm bumming a cigarette.
Off the boss. But it sounds like maybe he's a humble guy, you know what I mean?
Oh, he's just a wonderful man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds good. It sounds like it makes more of an influence him being that way than if he was a stuffed shirt guy and just rude, and you know what I mean. So it goes a long way, you know.
Yeah, sure does.
Let's see. What do you feel have been the most important successes in your life?
Well, obviously raising those 3 kids, it can come back to that, but my success in the military.
Yeah.
I mean that, you know, it's a tough life in some ways, and you've got to, you know, you got to get along with a lot of different types of bosses, and I guess the best way to do that is do a damn good job.
Yeah, that's true. And your, you know, your promotions reflect that. You know what I mean? And so, What have been some of your biggest frustrations?
Well, I would like to have never had the marriage break up, but other than that, nothing. No real frustrations in life. I can't think of anything.
Mm. What about how would you want your loved ones to remember you?
How would I like them to remember me? I don't know if I answered that one.
Yeah, I think that some of these we kind of answered during the interview and just talking, in some ways.
Well, how would I like my loved ones to remember me? Yeah, I think we've covered that. Just as a
maybe as the question about the reflection and what do you see?
yeah,
I think that's
exactly.
kind of
yeah.
how you'd want them to see you too, I believe.
Well, I already know what they think of me. They love their dad completely and respect me, and that's about all you could say to that, I think.
Yeah, that's good. If you had the power to solve one and only one problem in the world, what would it be and why?
It'd be world peace.
Mm.
It's such, even though as a soldier, when you think about it, cavemen were beating themselves over the head with clubs. We're doing the same thing still, just more sophisticated clubs.
Mm.
And you see the misery that's going on in the Ukraine, and you got these egomaniacs like Putin, and raining down, just for the sake of his ego, misery and killing people, and it's just
selfish.
If we could ever advance enough to quit beating each other over the head with clubs, and I say that as a soldier, but that would be my wish. Some powerful international organization where all countries came together, and boy, anyone that tries to warmonger would be squished. How will we do it? With weapons, I guess. It's an impossible.
Unfortunately, it's one of those necessary evils. You hope, like a military. You don't, you wish we didn't have to have it.
Yeah,
but at least it's on the side of the good guys, But that's true. Better communication probably between countries, would solve a lot of that. What is your greatest fear and your greatest hope?
Well, my greatest fear would be losing a member of my family before I went. I mean, that's pretty obvious. Otherwise, I don't fear much. I had my fear as a kid. No, I don't really fear anything. I don't worry about dying. Hope you go quickly and peacefully, but I've had such a full life. I don't worry about dying. That doesn't bother me at all.
Do you have a philosophy of life, and what's your best piece of advice for living? And I think we kind of touched on that too.
The philosophy of life would be that prayer of St. Francis. I just recommend that to anybody. You live that way and you'll be content. Don't hold grudges. Forgive. Give rather than get. Forgive rather than be forgiven. Just keeps you content. Good way to go through life.
If a young person came to you asking what's the most important thing for living a good life, what would you say?
Well, it's almost the same.
Yeah, I think it goes back. Very similar.
They kind of repeat themselves. Lead a good, disciplined, loving life, and you'll be happy.
Is that how you would define a successful life?
That's exactly how I would define accomplishments, a loving family, and you end up with contentment, peace of mind, contentment.
Very true. What would be your last wishes in life?
Go peacefully, quickly, with your family around. I mean, my last wish in life, my kids are all doing well. That's about it. Say to the next generation,
exactly.
Enjoy life. Enjoy your life. Don't fret it away.
good advice.
Yeah.
That was the last question there. What would you like to say to your family, kids, grandkids, generations after you? Enjoy your life.
Yeah, I think we've already.
Yeah,
we've
I think
already-
so. I think it's
Yeah.
summarizing a lot we talked about.
Yeah.
And then finally, is there anything else you'd like to talk about that we didn't touch on? Anything that comes to mind?
Let's see. I think we've pretty well covered it.
I think so.
I would say that it's been a real interesting interview, and I think you've missed your calling.
Mm.
And again, there's another thing. I never say anything phony-wise. If I didn't think so, I wouldn't say it. But you have a good way of empathizing and drawing out. If you're going to be doing this for business, I think you'll have a successful business. Really.
Thank you.
Would you agree, daughter?
Mm-hmm. You got a lot of questions prepared and you were ready.
That's very encouraging.
If what?
Very encouraging.
You're a good
John
man.
Collier, it's been a pleasure. If I and I'm pretty sure I'm going to continue doing this. This would be a hard one to top.
Well, I'll be easy to improve on.
Thank you.
All right.